All right. Cops Devlog. Moving forward. I'm Brian Bentley. This is me going through the new Copernicus system in Houdini, seeing how much trouble I can get into. My next thing, so if you watch the last couple ones, I was working on displacement map generation from high res to low res. And so that kind of led me down this rabbit hole of it's like maybe I can kind of pseudo replicate what substance painter and substance designers, bakers are doing, because I'm pretty sure it's all the same math. It's just shooting rays from your low res onto your high res. So that intersect function that I've been using is mostly doing most of the work. And then after that, it's just collecting data from what those rays hit. So I wanted to try to do this. So I have this nightmare fuel example. I didn't mean for it to become, it wasn't supposed to be this way, but this is just what kind of came out. So basically what I'm doing in the geometry context here is I'm going and I'm fetching, firstly, I'm fetching, let's turn the rest of the stuff off. So firstly, I'm fetching the sculpt, that high res sculpt that I did for the displacement mapping, because I figured that'd just be a good place to start. And so I need to generate a low res off of this. So I run a poly reduce onto this. So that gives me down here. And then I'm just doing an auto UV and a normal. So if we look at our UVs here, so there's my UV. So I just need, because remember, you need those UVs to drop that information into that's been sampled from that spot. So I just did a normal, put those at 180, and then I have this null here that was for testing purposes, and then I have my out low, and then these transforms down here are just to show off that spread out, accordioned out thing. The reason I have my this like disconnected maps baker in here is I remember I'll try to put a link to it in the description. There's the maps. This maps baker runs off of the old COPS network, right? So what I was thinking is that if the old COPS network can do this and the new COPS network can do everything the old COPS network can do, I should be able to cannibalize the logic from this maps baker into the new COPS net and just kind of rewrite that there. So that's kind of like my starting point. Because this maps baker, you can bake, you can generate AO, you can generate thickness. Now, some of this I updated it last time. I was talking about how some of these processes have been pushed into geometry land from kind of like texture land and compositing land. So one of those things, I just could not get the ambient occlusion calculation to work. So I had to break down and actually just do that on the geometry and fetch that information. But new system, kind of new rules. But anyway, the main thing that I used this for eventually was the transferring of the normal map. And I'll jump into that when we get to that. But I want to go back over this. Okay, so going back up to the top, so I made this new high res. So I just gave that sculpt some color. I ran poly reduce on it. I think I reduced this down to like 25%. I could probably go lower than that, but that'll probably trigger a rebake. But we're just getting less. I'm basically trying to disconnect these two meshes as much as possible to make sure the baking is actually working. So then poly reduce, and then I have some spheres that I scattered on the surface and gave multiple colors, and then I merged those together, and then that's my new high res there. So pretty standard, like, Houdini-esque stuff. And then this has this null and this goes to out high again. Okay. So then, yeah, so I think I'll continue kind of the cadence that I've been doing. So this is the part where I talk about the geometry setup, and then the next part I will talk about the actual COP setup, and then I probably won't have. I might split that second section up into two sections, because generally, if you're doing this type of work, this kind of like normal map baking work, you're going to be going to a real-time engine, something like Marmoset Toolbag or Unreal Engine, or even I don't know, even Eevee or something like that. So I'm probably not going to render it. So, but I will maybe export the maps. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm rambling now. So yeah, I hope whoever's watching these is getting something out of them. They're mostly just a diary for me to like put down my thoughts. So if they help you, great. Tell your friends. All right, I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.